Hi everyone and welcome to day 25. Today I'm going to talk about my top 5 reasons to not eat sugar and then for you to do the same. It's very important that we know why we don't want to eat sugar. If we don't have a good reason, it's going to be very hard to not continue doing it. And if you are enjoying this series or if you enjoy my material in general, can you please just hit that subscribe button down below and also give this video a thumbs up even though you haven't finished watching it yet. Just be nice and give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends as well. So, I might sound a little bit like a broken record, but when you want to quit sugar, it's important that you really have a good reason for doing so. Because sugar is one of these drugs that will take over your brain, literally, and make you feel like you're forced to eat it because you're just craving it all the time. So if you don't have a good reason, it's going to be pretty much impossible to stop eating it. You need to really want to stop eating sugar for you to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I wish it was easier than that, but that's the terrible truth. So before I ever quit sugar, I would never have thought about some of these reasons, especially the first one I'm going to mention. But now when I have, and I think that is what actually maybe my second most important one, but I will start with that one just because I'm talking about it now. But that is actually peace of mind. So if you are addicted to anything, whether that be sugar or alcohol or whatever it is, and you have been so for a very long time, then you probably don't know what it feels like to have peace of mind, because there's constantly those thoughts about eating, getting it, looking at it, sniffing at it, what it's tasting like, how you don't want to do it, how you do want to do it, and all these thoughts is always centered around the thing that we are addicted to. And when I'm not in the space of eating sugar, when I'm used to not doing it anymore, I do get this peace in my head. It's very much quiet. I can focus on things. I can do other things and actually enjoy them. So I can be much more present when I'm doing other things. So rather than go out kayaking and think about how long am I going to have to stay out here before I can go home and eat sugar, I can just enjoy being there, which is going to make the activity in itself more pleasurable as well, because I'm actually present and I'm enjoying it and I'm experiencing it when I'm in it. So that is actually something that I didn't know before I quit sugar, but now it's one of my top reasons for actually not eating sugar, because it's so nice when you can be there. My top reason probably, or at least it was before, is that I no longer have headaches or migraines regularly. Sometimes in connection with my period I might have it, but it totally depends on what I've done with my diet in general. So I actually started having quite headaches at a quite young age, when I was probably 8 to 10 years old, from what I can remember anyway. It might have been earlier. And the frequency of those headaches weren't as frequent as later in life, but I remember having them at that age because none of my friends were actually having them. And before I was figured out what was actually going wrong here, I have headaches probably 4, maybe 5 days a week consistently for several years. I tried physiotherapy, I tried stretching, massage, you just name it, and it was nothing that seemed to help. And I thought it was exercise related because I was exercising a lot at the time, and usually it showed up after I had been exercising, so throughout the day it would just gradually get worse. So sometimes I couldn't wait to go to sleep because I knew that it was going to be gone in the morning, and almost without fail it was gone every morning, and then it would come back later in the day, and especially if I was exercising. So that probably perpetuated the problem a bit, but the main thing, the turnaround for me, was the first time I went on a ketogenic diet, when I cut out all sugars and just did high fat, low carb, moderate amount of protein. The headaches just were gone, and that was like magic for me. I got my mom onto doing that, and my mom used to start her day every day with painkillers for her headache. So she was in a worse position than I ever was. Her headaches were gone as well. Same with my sister. She's had migraines on and off her whole life, gone when she's going low carb. So now it might be in my genes to have it, but there is a lot of research there which actually supports a theory that for those of us that do get migraines, there is something that makes us less tolerate sugar in much lower doses than normal people do before we're getting a headache or migraine especially. So that's quite interesting. So for me, it's definitely down to carb or sugar consumption, because carbs on its own can also trigger my headaches. Number 3 for me would be more energy and less sleep in the combination as it is. I find that when I'm cutting out sugar and carbohydrates, I sleep so much better, which means that I feel more rested after a shorter amount of sleep. So that's perfect, because most of us, we want more time in the day to do whatever we want to do. So I don't want to spend 9 hours, 10 hours a day sleeping necessarily. So if I'm feeling rested after 7-8 hours, I'm happy. And also waking up in the morning is a lot easier when you feel like you've had a good night's sleep. So number 4, no brain fog. I remember when I was eating a lot of sugar, I would initially fall asleep in front of my computer. I would literally fall asleep in front of my computer if I had had something sugary or very, very carb rich, and start nodding off. And mind you, I have a standing desk, and that will still happen, that I'm just zooming out. It's like I just couldn't stay awake anymore. And even when I didn't fall asleep, my brain was kind of falling asleep. So it was like I was walking around in a cloud and almost unable to think straight. And I really couldn't focus at all. It was just like you were zooming out. I was just so bloody tired. And I never really have that anymore unless I have had a particularly bad night's sleep, for example. But not necessarily actually physically falling asleep in front of my computer. So number 5, I couldn't actually decide whether I wanted this to be weight management or not having furry teeth, everything that has to do with oral hygiene. But I think I'll go for weight management because I've always had a little bit of extra, even when I've been really fit, when I was working as a personal trainer and diet advisor. I've never been super fit in that sense. I've always had a little extra layer, and that always bothered me. And I think the main reason for that is simply because no matter how well I was eating, as I thought I was at the time, because that's according to my knowledge at the time, I couldn't really get rid of the baby fat. And I think a lot of that had to do with that on top of my brilliant eating and the excess amount of exercise I was doing, I was also having sugar pretty much every day. Not necessarily huge amounts at the time, but it makes a difference, and it's messing with my insulin and my hormones. So I think that's a relief, that I now know that if I can just stay off the sugar, I don't have to worry so much about what I'm eating apart from that, unless I go and eat lots of pizza and other things. But those kind of things are not the things that trick me into eating. I'm more for pure sugar. Other than that, I actually like real food. I don't have a problem with the processed foods, thank God, because many people do. So that's probably my top 5 reasons for not eating sugar, and now I want you to do the same. So if you are one of those who are doing this challenge actively, if you just go to the Facebook group and you share with me and everyone else there, post your top 5 reasons for not eating sugar, because I'm really interested in hearing that. Obviously you can post under this video in the comments as well, because it's just fun to read what your reason is, because we're all different. So I will see you again tomorrow.